Welcome back, students. Now let us start the next chapter, chapter number 4, the structure of a flower. So you have read earlier in class 8 the structure of flower and learned the diagram as well as the terms related to it, and in this chapter we will study it in little more detail. So first of all, how will you define flower? What is a flower? Flower is the reproductive part of the plant, or you can also say that flower is a specialized shoot in which the leaves are modified into floral structures. First of all, there is a stalk. Most of the flowers, they have a stalk. For example, this. The stalk of the flower is known as pedicel. So this is the pedicel and the flower will be called pedicellate. And this tip of the stalk is normally, it is enlarged to form a cup-shaped structure, and this cup-shaped structure is called thalamus, or you can also call it receptacle. Thalamus or receptacle on which all the four parts, the four whorls of the plants are born. Okay, so if the flowers have stalk like this, rose flower, this is the stalk. The stalk is known as pedicel. And sometimes the flowers may not have this stalk. They are directly born on the main branch. For example, I could find this one, if you could understand. These are the flowers of tulsi plant, the basil plant, or in scientific name we call it Ocimum sanctum. So you can see these flowers are directly born on the main stem. We call these flowers sessile. So learn these two terms, pedicel if the stalk is present, or the flower can be sessile. And when the pedicel is present, it is usually swollen, or you can say it is usually enlarged to form a cup-shaped structure. We call it thalamus. In the diagram we show it like this, receptacle, or you can call it thalamus, on which all the four whorls of the flower are born. Now let us study and revise the four parts of the flower or the floral parts. The outermost whorl or the first whorl is called green sepals. We call it calyx. Sepals or calyx. For example, these are the sepals. We will call them calyx. You have studied earlier also. The next is the petals. These are the petals, or we will call it as corolla. Then the third whorl is stamens, or we call it as androecium. And inside the innermost whorl is pistil, or known as carpel or gynoecium. So which are the four whorls? First whorl, green sepals, collectively called calyx. Second whorl, brightly colored petals called as corolla. Third whorl, male part, male reproductive part, and this is the symbol you are going to use for male part. And you all know that these are the long thread-like structures projecting out. We call them stamens, and together we collectively call them androecium. So androecium, third whorl, and now the fourth whorl is gynoecium or pistil, and this is the symbol used to represent the female part, centrally located, and it is called pistil. Pistil may be formed of one carpel, or it may be bicarpellary, tricarpellary, according to the number of carpels present. Okay, and together collectively when they are fused we call them gynoecium. You all know that each carpel consists of basal ovary, then stalk which is called style, and the uppermost stigma. Fine. Now I would like to show you the stamens. In this flower they are little more clearly visible. Let's see if you can understand. Like see, this is the stamen, and this uppermost part, this is the anther, and this is the filament. Now let us learn some of the terms related with the structure of the flower. So first of all, I would like to revise with you the previous. You have studied the terms complete flower and incomplete flower, which is also called perfect or imperfect. A flower is called complete or perfect when it has all these four whorls, means outer calyx, then corolla, then androecium, and then gynoecium. If like suppose here in this flower, rose flower, all the four whorls are present, so we will call it complete or perfect. And in case any of these whorl is missing, then we will call it incomplete or imperfect. Next is essential or non-essential, or you can also call it reproductive or non-reproductive. These two whorls, calyx and corolla, these are called non-essential. Why? Because they do not take part in reproduction directly. You all know that calyx, it protects the flower in the bud form, and since it is green, it performs photosynthesis. And petals, this corolla, they attract the insects and they also protect the androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so we call them as non-essential parts or non-reproductive parts, whereas these androecium stamens and the gynoecium, they are called the essential parts or the reproductive parts, because these are the reproductive organs and they take part in reproduction directly. Fine. Third is bisexual and unisexual flower. So when both stamens and gynoecium, stamens and pistil both are present, androecium, gynoecium both are present, we call it bisexual flower. And for example, rose is bisexual, China rose is bisexual. And sometimes you might have seen, if you observe the flowers of papaya or cucurbita or gourd, you will see that the flowers, they have either the stamens, and some flowers have only pistil. So then they will be called unisexual, means one flower has only one reproductive part. If it has only stamens, then it will be called staminate. Staminate, when the flower has only stamens and it lacks pistil. And if the flower has only pistil and lacks stamens, then it will be called as pistillate. And not only this, sometimes in some flowers, both these are absent. For example, in sunflower, just see the flower. If you get sometimes sunflower, you all know it is brightly colored. The yellow petals of sunflower, they are called ray florets, and they do not have stamens or pistil. So such kind of flower is called neuter. In sunflower, the inside, that brown disc, that actually contains the androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so flower can be staminate, pistillate or neuter. Staminate if it has only stamens, pistillate if it has only pistil, and if both are absent, then neuter. And bisexual when both the floral parts, when both the reproductive organs, androecium and gynoecium, are present, then it is called bisexual flower. So these are some of the terms. Now, so please read in your book. Flower which contains both stamens and carpels is called bisexual. Another term is also hermaphrodite. For example, hibiscus, rose, lily, etc. And flower which has only one of these parts, then it is called unisexual or incomplete or imperfect. And it may be staminate if it has only male part, or it may be pistillate if it has only female part, or it may be called as neuter flower. Sometimes the flower is neuter, a flower in which both male and female reproductive organs are lacking. For example, ray florets of sunflower, they are pistillate but they are sterile. Fine. Now let us come on to the general description of the floral parts. So See, now you will learn some more terms related to the description of the flower. For example, now let us start with calyx and corolla. So remember one term, gamo and poly. Gamo will be used for fused or we call joined. And poly is the term used for free. So like we are going to study calyx in detail. Calyx, you all know, it is also known as sepals. So according to the flower, the calyx may be fused, they may be joined. If they are joined, we will use the term gamo. So we will call it gamosepalous. Or it may be free. When it is free, then it will be called polysepalous. Gamo for fused, poly for free. For example, just now I showed you the rose flower. So what will you call to these sepals? These are separate. See, you can easily see this is one sepal. This is the second one, another one, and these are all totally separate. We can easily take out one sepal. Fine. So this is polysepalous. Okay. Same terms we will use for corolla. For corolla or petals, we will again use the same terms. Means corolla can be gamopetalous. Gamopetalous means the corolla is fused, or it can be polypetalous. Polypetalous means corolla is free. For example, in rose the corolla is free. All these petals are free. This is one petal, so many petals. It is polypetalous and all these petals are free. Okay. And in some flowers, if you have some flowers in your garden, please observe and see. For example, see, free petals. Petals may be joined to form a tube-like structure. This tubular petal, and these are the combined. All are joined, so we will call it fused. Okay, petals fused, petals somewhat funnel shaped, and petals totally free. So polypetalous, gamopetalous. Same way we may have polysepalous, sepals are free, or we may have gamosepalous, sepals are fused. For example, in brinjal, you can see the brinjal, these fused sepals are always attached. Okay. Then same way we will study about androecium, stamens. So first of all, let us remember the androecium. You have studied that the androecium is made up of two parts. Which two parts? This is the anther and this is the filament. Anther and the filament, and we call it stamen or androecium. Okay, shape may vary. Sometimes the anthers are of this type and sometimes it may be like this, but normally it is always bilobed. Anthers are always bilobed. There are two lobes, one lobe and second lobe, but it is very small. You can only see under the microscope. And each lobe has two sacs, means this one lobe, the second lobe. So each lobe has two sacs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, total 4 sacs which contain the pollen grains. Okay, pollen, we call them pollen sacs, and they contain the pollen grains. You can see from here, this is the transverse section, TS section of anther. This is the bilobed anther, and each lobe has two sacs, pollen sacs, and they contain pollen grains. Okay, now let me show you a little bit. If you can see the anthers, you need to see it carefully, the anther and the filament. In rose plant also it is clearly visible, rose flower. Just see this tip, this one, the anther, and this stalk, this is the filament. And in this also, these are the anthers, and below it, this is the filament. Okay. So the arrangement of the anthers, again, it can be free or fused. When it is free, you will call polyandrous. When the anthers are free, you will call it polyandrous. I told you that poly is used for free. Like suppose this is one anther, another anther, another anther. So when all are free, then we will use it polyandrous, as in petunia. Or they may be joined. If they are joined, they may be joined in several ways. Either in a single group. If it is single one group, we call it monoadelphous. We will use the term adelphous for joined. Monoadelphous, diadelphous, polyadelphous. Monoadelphous for single group. Diadelphous, di means two groups. For example, in pea plant, there are total 10 stamens, out of which 9 form one tube and they are all joined. And the 10th one, the last one, is called free stamen, like this. So this is diadelphous. Or in some flowers, they may be arranged in several groups. One group, second group, third group, fourth group, fifth group. So this is polyadelphous. If the anthers are free, how will you call them? Polyandrous. And if they are fused, they are joined or organized, then they may be organized as one group monoadelphous, two groups diadelphous, or several groups as polyadelphous. Fine. So they have given you the examples, so you can learn or remember one example. Monoadelphous like China rose, cotton. Diadelphous like pea. I told you there are 10 stamens, 9 form one tube and the 10th one is free. Or polyadelphous, for example, bombax. So now next is gynoecium. Gynoecium means carpel, and you have studied the structure. Gynoecium pistil has 3 parts. The topmost tip is the stigma, and then the tube-like style, and then its swollen part, which is called the ovary. So stigma, style and ovary. Stigma, style and ovary. And ovary may contain, either it may contain one chamber, then it will be one lobule, may have one seed only, one ovule only, or it may be divided into several chambers. These chambers we call them lobules, and in each lobule there may be ovules, one or many ovules. Okay, and these ovules, they are attached to the ovary with the help of a structure, we call it placenta. So stigma, style and ovary, we call it pistil or gynoecium. And if it has only one carpel, like this is only single I have drawn, then it will be called monocarpellary, only one carpel. So, or by two carpels or many carpels. So together we call it pistil or gynoecium. So you can see from your book, stigma is the terminal knob like part. It may be divided into 2 or more lobes, and it has sometimes feathery appearance. The stigma is the first part which receives the pollen grains during pollination. You all have read. And then style is the tubular slender stalk which connects the stigma to the ovary. And ovary is the swollen basal portion. And it may contain one or many carpels fused together. And the inner cavity of ovary may have a single chamber. Then it is called we will call it as locule or single chamber. Or it may have many chambers, we call it locules. And in the locules, ovules are present, and these ovules are joined to the ovary with the help of placenta. Fine. So revise till here. Next part we will discuss in next video. Thank you very much.